Greetings. The purpose of this instructional video is to summarize the concepts that are going to be covered on the assessment. I want to start by letting you know that watching this video is not mandatory because you do have these PowerPoint presentations posted on the modules, and I do not go over every single detail. I gave you an idea of what you need to know. This is an asynchronous course. Therefore, you can review these PowerPoint presentations on your own and answer questions on your own. But I know that we all have different ways of learning, and so there are some of you that require that guidance from the instructor in order to comprehend these concept letters. So this is for those of you who need that guidance. I have no problem in providing you with that. As I go in a very not detailed, but once again, this is I just go really quick over a summary. I mean, if I was to go over every detail, this would be like a 2-hour video, but it's about 10 minutes or less than 10 minutes. And I just want to make sure that I emphasize the concepts that you guys need to learn. So all modules will have videos like this in which I will just summarize what you need to learn about the topic. And once again, it is not mandatory for you guys to see them. All right, so when we begin this course, and I mean, so there are the learning goals in there. We're studying biology, and biology, if you define it, is the study of life. And so in order to understand what is it that we're studying, and we need to know how we study, or how do we study science, and how do we study biology. So this chapter, all it is go over how to study science using the scientific method. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and summarize the steps of the scientific method, which is what this chapter is all about. And do remember, you also have a lab, virtual lab that goes, then you get to apply this knowledge on the scientific method in order to study a particular concept. So, what is science? What is biology? So scientists are curious people. In order for you to like science, to be a scientist, you have to be very curious. If you go out there, let's say you have never seen the sky, and the sky, you notice that it is blue. So a good question would be, why is the sky blue? Why is it not green? Why is it not purple? Why is it blue right now? So based on that question, you formulate you educate yourself. You try to find out if there is information as to the reason why the sky is blue. And if you don't find anything concrete, then you want to investigate by doing experiments as to why the sky is blue. And so that is what the study of science is based on. Is we are curious people. We ask questions and we seek answers to those questions. Of course, in here they give you another example, but I wanted to give you my own. So, and you had different questions and different examples in there. So this is important. Science is not simply a body of knowledge or a list of facts to remember, but rather an intellectual activity that encompasses observations, descriptions, experimentation, and explanations of natural phenomena. But most importantly, science, we're never done. I don't think we're never going to be done learning. Science is an ongoing process. We continue to investigate. There is new information that comes, um, that it is discovered all the time. So I think as we progress in this life, in this world, we are constantly discovering new concepts, new ideas, and that is what is exciting about science, and especially biology. Biology is the study of life, and we are actually finding out more and more on how to get to know really well how those life works. And that is an advantage for us because it allows us to, um, we use that knowledge for our health. It allows us to be more healthy and then to be more knowledgeable on how to live well in summary. So there's a lot of information out there, and you have to learn how to distinguish of what is good information and what is not good information, what is true, what is not true. So I'm gonna let you guys read this. There is a few ways on how you can actually do that, and so it's interesting. Make sure that you read through it and you get that. Um, you got scientific literacy, how to think scientifically, how to use the knowledge. We're going to make wise decisions. Uh, so when we learn biology, and this is actually the good thing about biology, and I tell my students that when you learn biology, so a lot of people say, so how am I going to use this in life? You use this in life um, a lot because as we continue to live, we can associate what we have learned with what is going on in our own lives. I know I do. In raising my boys, I got two sons. In raising them, when they get sick, I use my knowledge, my biological knowledge, to make decisions as to do I need to rush them to the hospital immediately, or is it just a cold? And if I give them a couple of Tylenol pills, will they be okay? So we use this knowledge in life. It's not like a waste of time. So taking this class is going to help you make decisions in your own lives, hopefully. So as I go further, it goes a little bit of what biology literacy is. And once again, just learning how to recognize uh, real scientific knowledge from non-real scientific knowledge. But then this is important. We go to 1.3, and so it introduces the scientific method, which is what the bulk of this module is understanding how to use the scientific method to do scientific investigation. And once again, when you go to the lab, you are going to use the scientific method to solve to answer the questions on that lab on that virtual lab. So I'm gonna let you read that, but I'm just gonna go over the steps of the scientific method real quick. So step one, like I mentioned at the beginning, you make an observation. Step two, based on that observation, you make questions that will lead you to educate yourself on the questions that you're making, and you end up formulating a hypothesis. Well, this chapter goes over how to formulate a good hypothesis that is then testable, because the step three is actually to come up with an experiment that you will need to do in order to uh, test the hypothesis. And based on the results, you are going to draw conclusions that will let you know whether the hypothesis is correct or not correct. Hypotheses are not right or wrong, but whether it supports your hypothesis or whether it doesn't support your hypothesis, and maybe you need to actually make a revision, come up with a new hypothesis, and then do a new experiment. But those are the steps of the scientific method. And so the rest of the chapter, I mean, and this is really simple, it goes over the details on how to do one of those steps. As I move through really quick, it just goes over how to do a hypothesis. It explains about the null hypothesis and how does that work with the experiments. Make sure you guys take note of that. And if you don't understand, you can email me and I can go in more details over with those of you who need a little bit of a better explanation. It goes over how to, and I think the next section here, it goes over how to formulate experiments based on that hypothesis, how to draw conclusions. And like I said, this is just a summary. I'm not going a specific detail. But once you actually support or do experiments and get results to support your hypothesis, you can actually formulate theories that will come from those experiments that you did to support your hypothesis. Important, and this is going to help you a lot for the lab, for the virtual lab. So in the formulation or the making of the experiment, to come up with an efficient experiment, you had to have all this. You had to have a treatment. You had to have an experimental group, control group, important variables. Um, there is an independent variable, there is a dependent variable. So all of these let you know how do they relate to each other and how do they work. And so make sure that you guys go over this information and comprehend it before going and trying to do that virtual lab. And so pretty much this is what this chapter is all about. Like I said, you see, I talked to you about independent versus dependent variable. Make sure that you guys know what it is. There are questions about that on the quiz. Um, and so make sure you understand all of this material. Once again, this is just a summary. There are other chapters where I will need to explain things a little bit more in depth, but I believe that this one chapter is an introductory chapter about what is science, the scientific method, and how to do experiments efficiently, and all of the vocabulary and concepts that go with that experiment. Uh, I feel is very self-explanatory, so I'm going to let you guys take care of it on your own. And if you have any specific questions, you can, of course, email me and I will clarify. On subsequent chapters, I will be a little bit more specific in some of the other material. Thank you. And like I say, do not hesitate to email me if some of this material is not clear to you.